Good morning, guys! Oh my god, did I remember to turn the mic on this time? That's like amazing. Oh, hello, here we are! I have not really cosplayed in like maybe a year or something, and I was very uninspired and everything, but now, after the con, I'm like, let's go! Let's make stuff! The other night I was like, I want to craft, like, I have all this energy and motivation, but like no inspiration, so how was the con? Yeah, a little Afest recap. So yeah, we were Castle Crashers. I wish y'all could see my mouse on here. Anyways, I was the Orange Knight with the broad axe. Ta-da! And then here's our whole group. Man, this was a big one. Like, this looked really, really big, really good. So everyone took theirs home. So everyone has their own head and everything, but I do have mine to show you. So for the costume, or for the black, of course, I just wore a morph suit. Pretty much full coverage, easy. And we had our tunics, which, by the way, pretty much all of these costumes were made in the hotel room. Never doing that again, and we're not even going to worry about that, all right? I'm not even going to go into that. But just a simple tunic here, tied with like a little waist sash. But the cool parts, the parts we really want to see. So here's the helmet. It's very durable. A couple people dropped theirs like 2 or 3 times, and yeah, they really lasted. So the inside is a Home Depot paint bucket, and one of our girls cut out the skeleton for it. I'm not positive, so I wasn't there for that part of the process. I'm assuming that she cut out a lot of it to add breathability, to take some of the weight off, because she spent a long time and it was a very complicated pattern and she cut herself a few times. I probably would have just worn the paint bucket, but that's me cutting corners. And then we fit it to our heads, custom fit with those foam pieces. So we place them wherever, right here on your forehead, right here on the sides, so it kind of fit like a softball helmet, and kept your brain from jiggling around. And then the mesh, it's not very pretty, but this mesh, so it's just your regular black tulle, I think, that you can get at the store, and we just layered it like 8 times and taped it in there. That's my job. I taped it in there. But yeah, it's awesome from the front. You can't see anything inside, so it turned out great. And then, of course, we put, I think it was Eva foam, some kind of foam. We put Eva foam around the outside, just a very thin one around the outside, just for that smoothness. Like no paper mache or anything like that. This is just foam. And then your regular acrylic paint. So that's the head. This is one of the many weapons, which I'm sure you saw in the pictures. These turned out good for pictures, but I was like, please nobody like grab them and look up close, because they're a little messy. Yeah, so this is the axe. It's gotten a little bit of damage from being propped up, but basically it's just 2 slabs of cardboard cut out and like glued or taped and secured around this pole, or around this dowel rod, and I paper mache'd it for smoothness and to fill in these gaps here, and then just painted it. So this one was like really easy, really simple. Okay, so we'll start with the mace, which, by the way, this was perfect if you've never been to the Plaza de Americas in Dallas. It's a great place to take pictures because they have these giant glass prisms in the windows, and so of course throughout the day the sun will hit it and it'll cast rainbows like throughout the entire plaza, so it's really fun. So yeah, that was our Castle Crashers cosplay and the fruit of the labor from like 2 months ago. Thank you guys so much for joining with me throughout that. We're not done. No, don't leave. A little more Afest recap. Let's see. So my friend Tina, she's one of my best friends. She turned 18 last year. It was one of her first time to be able to go to an 18 plus panel. And if you've never been to 18 plus panels at a con, they're usually very raunchy, very dirty. And definitely meant for the older crowd. So we went in there, and the first one was like a fanfic reading. These voice actors just read filthy, dirty, awful, stupid, crazy fan fiction. And we were sitting there, and the whole time I was just like, yay, you're 18! Like, welcome to being 18. And then after that, we went to a hentai dubbing panel. We stayed for 1 minute. No, it was probably like 3 minutes. And then we were like, let's leave. It was extremely graphic. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I really didn't. I've never gone to one. And I was like, oh my god, I'm taking my maid of honor to this panel. And so it was definitely awkward, and like, we didn't talk about it when we went to the hotel room after that. Well, y'all have seen the plastic flashing bracelets, right? That you go and you rave and you're like, oots, oots, oots. So, I was going to go into the rave with Tina again, just to kind of get some, like, video. Like, I wasn't really feeling like raving, and I was wearing giant slippers, so that wasn't gonna work. So we walked in there. I did, like, a very quick beeline, just, like, through the crowd and everything, with my video camera. And then we were leaving, and this guy comes up in a lab coat, and he has like 30 glow sticks around his neck, like daisy chained together, and he's like, hey, were y'all dancing? And he was gonna give us some glow sticks, and then we were like, no, but I was reaching for the glow sticks, and he's like, I need you to dance first. So immediately I was like, you know how white people dance at a rave? And I was holding my camera, and whatever, good like 20 seconds, and then he's like, all right, and you did that while holding a camera, you get an upgrade. And he opened a box, and he like, oh, the light came out of the box, and he handed me one of those plastic flashing bracelets. So I was like, yeah! He handed Tina some glow sticks, and it was like a Simpsons episode, because if you're watching like from the outside of the rave, you have this door on the left, door on the right. You see us run in there, and then like 2 minutes later we run out like with glows whatever, and we're like, we have fun at the rave. I ate sushi for 4 meals, because I would buy like so much of it at lunch, and then I would just be like, I can't eat this much sushi. And we had a fridge in the room, thank God. So I got to eat sushi for lunch, and then again at like 3 a.m. and it was wonderful. But nothing like crazy happened at this con. Except,
oh my god.
So I never used to be so awkward. Like, it's just gotten worse as I've gotten older, which makes no sense, because as you get older, you should be like, I don't care, right? I don't know. Okay, actually, I didn't realize I used to be awkward. Like, I didn't realize it in high school. I thought it was cool. Everyone used to tell me that I was so awkward, and I didn't get it. But the Cosplay Ball, so it's like a semi-formal, you have to go in at least, you know, decently dressed, wearing a dress, most likely, and you can wear cosplay to this ball. And they played like, number one, I was not pleased with the music choices. They would play a kind of slow instrumental, like, video game song, and then they would play, like, swing jazz music, which is fine, but it wasn't quite swingy enough to where you can actually, like, dance to it. And then they would play like a sea shanty song. I am not kidding. It was pirate themed this year at Afest. It was pirate themed. So they would play like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean instrumental mix, or like an actual sea shanty set to like violins or something. And then they just were like, yep, this is ball music. So I didn't really know how to dance to some of it. And like, so Tina and we feed off of each other. So Tina, Kim, she's another girl with us, and I walked into the ball, and we were looking forward to this. And like for hours before, we're like, oh, we're getting ready for the ball. Let me put all my stuff on. It's going to be lovely. And then we get there, when it opens, right? So everybody just kind of is filing in. Some people are going to dance, and then some people are going down to sit down in the chairs that are like surrounding the room with a perimeter. And I was like, no, let's not sit down. And we go and we sit down in the back of the room, and we're like, all right. And then so for an hour, the first hour, we're just sitting there in our chairs, and we're talking, like Tina and I are talking, Kim's sitting over here, like people watching and kind of enjoying herself, and Tina and I are talking. And there would be like these guys that would patrol like up and down the seats, like make their rounds around the crowd or throughout the room, just kind of looking for someone to dance with. And like some of them were creepy. Most of them were creepy. Like I wouldn't want to dance with them. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable. And I'm not saying that as like a generalization. I'm just saying that, yeah, you know, I don't really want to dance with someone that has their shirt unbuttoned this much, is wearing a gold chain and wearing sunglasses inside. Like, that's just not my favorite dancing partner. So we would like be facing towards each other in the chairs, and then someone would start walking by, and we would get like really anxious, and like you just feel that like squeezing inside, and we would like turn and face towards each other a little bit more and keep talking and like start sweating and freaking out, and then like they would kind of slow down, and then they would like pass and keep walking, and we're like, whew, all right, disaster averted, yes. All right, we can relax again. And it was kind of a game throughout the night, but there was so much like angst and anxiety from being asked to dance. And there was this one guy walked up, and he stood there, like he just stood there in front of us, waiting to be noticed, and like waiting his turn because we were mid conversation, and you know, just being very polite. And a solid minute and a half goes by, and we don't acknowledge him at all, and we're getting more and more anxious. So I'm sitting there talking to Tina, and we were talking about Roblox, okay? That's how bad it was. We were talking about Roblox, and my mind started going blank, because I saw him standing there, and he wasn't moving, he wasn't leaving, and I was getting so anxious, and I just couldn't think, and I was just like, yeah, and and I was trying to keep the sentences going, and she was trying to keep it going, but she was also stuttering, and we just like really started sweating. And then finally he like came and he sat down next to me and started talking to Kim, and then I started relaxing a little bit, and I was like, okay, and then I jokingly was like, what if I just start crying? Like, what if I start crying, and then I'll put my head on your shoulder, and then like people will leave us alone, like they won't come ask. And then I actually started crying because I was so anxious, and we had all that energy, so I started like bawling, and then it was just stupid. It was so bad. My first ball. Notice me, senpai? We should have just gotten up, but it's almost like a boulder. Like, you know, if you start, it takes so much to like get it moving, but then once it's moving, like you're fine. But we were just like glued to those chairs. Like, we were not moving at all, and we didn't want to be talked to, we didn't want to be asked to dance, which is like, why were we even there? I don't know. No, it was fun, actually. We were having a blast. Like, I asked her, I'm like, are you having fun? And she's like, yes, I'm having fun, because it's like a game. I think the same chemicals that come from like excitement also maybe kind of come from anxiety. So eventually, and I felt bad, so I turned to him, and I was like, hey, sorry for ignoring you earlier. Like, I just had really high anxiety, and I didn't want you to ask me to dance. And he was like, oh, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of chit-chat for a second, and I was like, yeah, I don't dance. Or, like, I've never been to a ball before. And so he was like, stuck out his hand, and I was like, okay. I went to go dance, and it was fun, but it was just a lot of, like, jumping around, because like I said, it was that awkward swing music that wasn't quite swing music that nobody knew how to dance to. So that was my ball experience. And then like we danced with some other people after that, but it was pretty uneventful afterwards. I just had to tell my anxiety story. I never used to be that bad, so whatever. A lot of white people dancing, I mean, that's what it was. And, like, again, it was pirate themed, so you had some pirate people in there, and they were, like, they started a dance circle where everyone was just, like, holding hands and, like, spinning around in the circle, and then some people would go in the middle, and like, one lady had skirts, and she would do, like, this number. So that was the kind of dancing that there was, and I just didn't feel like getting into that. So yeah, that was my Afest recap. Thank y'all for listening.